For those of you who have just arrived, happy Halloween. And this is the costumes optional Ask Us Anything Halloween party. Ashley, who have you come to the Halloween party as?
I am Serena Joy, but the Serena Joy who smiles way more than the one you are maybe familiar with.
And I am the permission fairy, and you may call yourself a writer. So what we're going to talk about today is going to be an Ask Me Anything, but we always like to start just by reviewing real quick what we talked about last time. So last meeting was all about writing for social media. We talked about how viral worthy content is great writing. We talked about how for Twitter, think about a candy, a hand, a punchline, or a punch. And somebody also added in a question. A really good, strong question can get a lot of nice engagement. We talked about how Instagram adds value to people's lives, and it's useful to take your personal experience and make it an actionable advice type thing that other people can use in their lives. And we also taught everybody about Instagram comment pods, and there are some very exciting Instagram comment pods, some really fast ones, some moderately slow ones. If you're enjoying your comment pod, keep on enjoying it. If you're having any questions or whatever, feel free to direct message Ashley or I in Instagram or through the email. And if you have not yet signed up for a comment pod, you certainly can do that after this meeting. You'll get the link to sign up for comment pods in the follow-up email. This is recorded. We record every meeting, and tomorrow you will get a link to the recording as well as to the recording of all the previous episodes and what they all were, so that if you want to listen to previous episodes, you can. And just to kind of fill you in on who we are, I'm Allison K. Williams. I write memoir and I write about writing craft. And I sold a book entirely on platform. I did not, in fact, realize that my agent had not read my proposal until we started working on it to send it out to publishers. She just liked the concept and thought I had the platform to sell the book. That book will be out in March. That's 7 drafts, self-edit like a pro from blank page to book. Ashley, what's your writing journey?
It is the opposite of Allison's writing journey. So I signed with my agent based on my story alone, even though my platform was very small. Almost no followers on Twitter, less than 2,000 followers on Instagram. And now I am working to build my platform through connecting with other writers, through really sharing in the different media types through Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, using my strengths to get my story out, even though it is not out in print yet.
And we really enjoy doing platform. We're kind of those weirdos who like doing stuff online, and we like Twitter and we like Instagram. And Ashley has even broken into TikTok in a crazy new way. Do not worry, you do not have to learn to do TikTok. And I want to also restate the real importance of an email mailing list. Start collecting all your friends and family's emails. So what kind of questions do you guys have? And feel free to hit the little hand raise button and we will unmute you so that you can ask your question. And if it's taking you a moment to think of a question, we had a really great question come in advance about accessibility. Catherine asked, my questions are about accessibility first of all. I know we should try to include alt text for screen readers for photos, but are there other things to do or consider, and any handy tips or apps to do them? So we're going to send you guys a couple of links, and one of them will be a link that is how using alt text can help your SEO, and that's the advanced version. So you can ignore it if you are not already comfortable with the words SEO. We're also going to send a really basic link from Shondaland that talks about 9 best practices to make your social media more accessible. Couple of top tips: use what's called camel case for hashtags. So instead of writing your hashtags in all consecutive lowercase letters, if it's more than one word, capitalize each new word, because that helps the screen readers read the hashtags as separate words instead of as one long words. It's really great to close caption your videos. Ashley, how do you close caption your Instagram Reels and your Instagram videos?
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys a really quick option here.
While you find it, I'm going to tell
Yes,
you
thank
guys
you.
why you want to close caption any video where you are speaking. Because number one, it makes it a lot more accessible to anybody who has a hearing challenge or anybody who cannot turn their phone volume on right now. The other reason to caption all of your videos is it totally benefits you. 90% of people scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or anything else are doing it with their sound off, or they are in a situation where they cannot turn the volume loud enough to really hear about it. So putting closed captions on not only makes your videos accessible to people with hearing issues, it also makes your videos accessible to everyone. They're much more likely to be watched all the way through if you've got closed captions. Ashley?
They are. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you see a picture of me on my, great. Okay, if you look at the top right-hand corner right here where it has the two A's, if you click there, you can start entering text. Now, if you look down at the bottom right-hand corner, do you see the microphone? If you click there, you can enter a caption without typing it, period. I usually go up to, I'm gonna just click done. I go up to the top and then change it so it has a background, so then it has a contrasting background so it's a little bit more visible. And I change the color to be a little more in line with my brand. So this is the story that I recorded. Super easy way. I often have to go back in and maybe change the spelling of one word or do a little correction, but this is an easy way to do quick captions on your Instagram stories or your Instagram reels without typing every word.
Yeah. So definitely use those closed captions. Also remember that when a screen reader reads an emoji, it reads it literally. So watch out for scream, 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 scream all in a row. And again, we'll send you two specific links, one that's more advanced about how using image description text can help your SEO, one that's more basic, 9 best practices that you can start doing right now for social media. Abby, I'm going to unmute you. And why don't you go ahead, or maybe you should unmute yourself because my thing does not seem to be unmuting you. There we go, unmute audio. Okay. And ask your question, Abby.
Great. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I had sent Allison a question in advance, which was, how do you engage in a meaningful way to build your platform without constantly checking your phone? So I started getting notifications for my pods, for, certain comp accounts that I want to respond to quickly. And I got my report the other day. It said I'm averaging 6 hours on my phone a day, which I was appalled, just completely appalled by that. How do you get around that?
Okay, first, I would like to just play the devil's advocate here in a tiny way. We don't need to be on platform for 6 hours a day. But I have had the similar thing happen when I've been working on platform a lot. My manuscript is done. Platform is my priority right now. And thought I shouldn't have been doing that. And then I looked at the connections I'd made in my DMs. I looked at how my followers had grown. I looked at the quality of my conversations in the comments that from writer friends and from other friends, and like the real quality of what was going on there and how people were supporting each other, and also how my content had improved when I was investing that time. So there is an improvement. It's not just mindless scrolling. You could also turn all notifications off and set 30 or 45 minutes a day. If platform is a big priority for you, set 15 minutes a day. If you want to focus more on your drafting or your revising of your book. And like Allison never has notifications on. She goes to her phone on all her social media platforms at a specific time. She's already shared. Often she tweets when she's on the toilet. This is public information, and she will just look at it when she wants to. And then her phone is
makes
off.
No sounds. It has no banners. The only thing I have notifications for is WhatsApp, because that's how my husband gets to me. And even then, it does not make a sound. It does not vibrate. And I turn it face down when I am writing. I think Ashley leaves her phone in another room when she's writing. I'm not
on another floor of the house. Yes.
But I find that it works for me to focus my response time on social media on time that is normally dead time for me, time that is waiting, time that is potty time, time that is my husband is cleaning off the car window because he really cares about dust on the car window and I don't really care about dust on the car window. You know, he gets in the car, he's like, can you not see that? No, I really can't. My active time on social media, I actually schedule in time for myself with that. I like to wake up and do a little bit of writing on Instagram, which I'm trying to get back more in the habit of because it helps me feel connected to my writing first thing in the morning. So I would definitely say separate your creating content time, by which we mean practicing good writing on your topics and to the people you want to reach as your readers, from your responding to people time. And especially with comment pods, like, you guys are great for each other, and it's okay if the comments take a couple of days to gradually roll in and help that post get seen. It doesn't all have to be the instant it happens.
So good. So does everybody understand that creating content versus responding to people's comments on your content or responding to other people's, we have to look at those as two separate pockets of time, because often it's the responding that can be a time suck that just takes a few seconds here and there and adds up to, like Abby says, 6 hours a day. It's easy.
I also use the microphone function that Ashley showed us. I also use that function both to dictate blog posts and Instagram posts when I'm coming up with ideas. And I use it to do comments because I can do microphone. Wow, that picture is such a fabulous sunset. Post. Tap again. Wow, I really love what you're saying here about your writing practice. And it is faster than physically typing it, even though I am a pretty fast typer. Just a quick circle back to closed captions. Marisa points out that Instagram does not translate alt text to other languages. So she also adds an image description in her comments because then screen readers can translate that into other languages besides English. I've also seen people write their caption, and then if there's still room, they take a space and do image description in brackets. And Stephanie points out that Facebook is rolling out automatically generating captions for videos. It's kind of funky and it may not happen for you for a while, and you can go in and edit them sometimes, but she checked automatically generate captions, and this week they did show up on the video.
So it's something that has been there and then gone away and come back. And sometimes, so if you upload a video, there's a couple of different kind of screens that you click through, and there's a place where it'll say automatically generate captions. Sometimes if you click it and you wait, it'll generate all the captions in the video and you can actually go in and edit them. I usually don't bother and just accept that if they show up, that's great. And there will be typos in it. And my shows are 30 minutes long, so I'm not going to necessarily do that. But if you have shorter stuff, it's probably worth it to wait. But I think it's a functionality that they're rolling out intermittently, and you know how they do that kind of stuff. So that was all. I'll mute myself again.
A quick answer for Susan, and then we can have Kai come up. Here on my phone, if you guys have this on speaker view, I am trying to type a caption in here. And if you look in the bottom corner down here, the microphone is there. And
it's
when you
on your keyboard. It's not an Instagram function. It is a function of your phone.
Thank you.
And so you can use that speaking for text anywhere that you want to be able to talk instead of typing. And your phone gets better at recognizing your words as you go. But you do have to say your punctuation out loud. Kai, what's your question?
Okay, so I want to be mindful of my time, but also appreciative of comments. So I just wanted your thoughts on, sometimes I just hit the heart, and sometimes I do a official, response. And so kind of balancing both. I try to be mindful of both, how I feel and also how the person took the time to do it. So I just wanted your thoughts. Is it rude to just click the heart, or should you make an effort to actually, write out a response?
Always remember, you do not work for social media. Social media works for you. So
Okay.
by all means, the people you feel genuinely connected to, you're really inspired by, or you're in a comment pod with them, go ahead and leave a comment of 4 words or more. If it is just a casual person in your feed, just liking is just fine. If there's someone that you'd like to connect with a little more and you have time, go ahead and leave that comment. And Susan had asked, do characters and emojis count for 4 words in the algorithm threshold? Because the Instagram algorithm treats comments of 4 words or more highly. No, characters and emojis do not count. Conversations in comments, though, are great because that shows that your post is really being engaged with, that people are talking about it with each other as well as about you. So that's something too. If you're in a comment pod and you're not feeling moved by the picture or by the caption, see what other people are saying, because there might be something in there that you can respond to, and then you've connected with 2 people.
And that is a really good point when you are on your comp accounts, so your comparative accounts. This is something we've talked about in other episodes. Writers and creators who write things that are similar to you. Think of your comp titles that you would put in your query or your proposal. Finding those similar accounts and following them on social media, getting into the discussions, and like Allison said, maybe not responding directly to the post, but replying to someone else's comment is a great way to support that community that is so similar, a lot of overlap, a lot identical to the people that you want in your audience.
Samantha, what's your question?
So my situation is a little bit strange. I'm a complete newbie about social media. I'm on Twitter. I think I have an Instagram account, but I've had a novel that was published in 2017 that just came out in paperback, and just finished the edits on a new novel that will come out in next August. And so, this is all so overwhelming to me, and I feel like my learning curve is huge. And that if I really spent the time doing it, I wouldn't be writing. I mean, the time even to transfer my website to the new book, and someone else made the website for me. So I think I'm really wondering, like, at what point do you recommend really that you just find someone who can, understand your voice, but really take over your social media, and help you do it.
Is your book fiction or nonfiction?
They're both historical fiction.
You don't really need a social media presence. I would say if you feel like it, bond with your readers in that way. Maybe, a couple of times a week, you put out like something about the historical time period, or some old photographs, or, something about your research process. But you do not necessarily need to bond with your readers in order to sell a book, the way that people who are memoirists end up needing to bond with readers in order to sell a book. I like to think of social media as happening, or platform building in general, as happening there's a connection phase, there's a sales phase, and then there's a maintenance phase. And so before your book comes out, you want to be in the connection phase. You want to present as much value as you possibly can to your readers, connect with them as personally as your privacy feels okay with, and build your mailing list. Then you have your sales phase, where you're still maintaining the connection behavior, but you're also including, hey, my book is available, you can pre-order it, or here's a cool thing about my cover, that kind of thing. And then you have the maintenance phase, where you're still staying connected with your readers, but you're not actively trying to sell them anything. Ashley, what do you think about that?
I completely agree. And I think social media is best done by the actual person whose face is on the account. And that's what I enjoy the most, even about big memoirists that I follow, that they respond themselves to comments. So, and I don't engage a lot on accounts where the writer doesn't write back. So I would say, just like Allison said, find the amount that feels good for you. Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? Because your genuine offering and connection with your readers is worth more than having somebody on there who kind of, even if they understand your writing voice, kind of poses as you. I think you actually will be able to digest what your readers are saying and what they're wanting from you seeing the information, even if it's only for 2 15-minute blocks a week.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to figure that out better than someone you hire for it.
Most of us are not a big enough deal to need somebody else to run our social media. You know, we're better off spending that money building a mailing list, perhaps getting a publicist to send out some press releases, or learning how to write press releases ourselves. Your money is not super well spent channeling it into social media when you are not angling for a career as an influencer as opposed to as a writer.
Okay.
Yeah. Amy, what's your question?
Hey, everybody. I cannot get Twitter to work for me. I mean, I know how Twitter works, but I feel like a fangirl, like following and commenting on posts of people who have comparable platforms and issues and all that, but they never follow me back. So as a result, you know, I've got like twice the numbers of people that I'm following and not that many who are following me back. Like, what's the magic to get somebody cool to follow you back? And I'm not talking about somebody who has 1 million followers. I'm talking about somebody who has that kind of micro influencer platform between 10 and 30,000, which is where I want to go.
Amy, I just want to say one thing, because every time I put a great comment on Liz Gilbert's post, I'm like, damn, she didn't follow me back. But guess what? Sometimes 1,600 of her audience members come to my social media that day and come to my website.
What?
Yes, off one comment, I've got 160 new followers. So the thing is, Elizabeth Gilbert's never going to follow me.
Right.
But it's their audience members. That's the thing. Engage and think more about how can I get to know their readers, because those readers are your readers.
Right. Right. But I mean, like all the cool food people, and I don't mean like, you know, the rock stars with TV shows. I'm talking about the people who are like one step above me. They are a locked down group of folks. They don't give away nothing. Not a follow, not a like.
It's a long, slow process as well.
All right.
I joined Twitter, I think in 2013. It might have been a little bit earlier. It took me 2 years of slowly building up followers to hit like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 followers. And then finally in 2015, I wrote my pinned tweet about how you're not too old to write your first book. And it went viral and I got 5,000 followers overnight.
Okay.
Neil Gaiman retweeted it.
Okay.
But it could not have gone viral if I had not spent 3 years building a critical mass of people who liked to hear from me. And so, like Stephanie has said in the chat, that her whole approach to social media has changed since she started thinking of it in terms of how can I be in service to my readers rather than how can I get people to follow me. And I think that's a real key for it too, because when we're on it to be the star ourselves, we will always be disappointed. We will always be disappointed. You know, I mean, it's like they say, everyone who is an actor, it's because no matter how much their parents loved them, it wasn't enough. They never received enough love as a child. And the same thing is true for social media. You will never receive enough. So don't look at it as a place to nurture yourself. Look at it as a place to practice your writing and nurture other people. And it's going to be
all right. Because I mean, like, I feel really embarrassed when I see like, nobody has read my tweet. No, I don't care about retweeting it. Like nobody's even clicked it. And I'm in these groups of like word game people and recipe people. And I'm like crickets. So I will shut up now and be more just resolute about it.
Yeah. And it's okay to also write off Twitter and just go, okay, it's not where my people are, you know? Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Sarah, what's your question?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm new to Instagram. So when I post something on Instagram, a photo and a caption, and then I do what you say, and that's go to the little airplane and then share it with my pod group. So the message I put out first, can I change the message when I send it over to the pod group? Like, so I might just put a general statement for my first post. I don't know, am I making sense? So
you're saying, should you change the caption?
No, sometimes I want to. So I want to put a simple one out there, but when I share the same picture with my pod, when I forward it, can I change the story even though I'm using the same picture?
It
So
doesn't
when
do you much. Sorry, go ahead, Ashley.
Yeah, when you send the post to the pod, they're going to see your original caption. But if there's some other context that you want the pod to know in their commenting or their interaction with it, then yes, you could add a little message below it. Yep, you could absolutely do that. If with the writers in your pod, there's extra context that you don't want to share with everyone out in the big wide Instagram world.
Okay, because it showed up as an extra comment. I didn't want to put more work on people to have to then comment on my comment. Okay.
No, they won't have to comment on your comment. If it just frames your post in a different way or gives them some more information, then that'll just give them info for when they click over to your post to engage with it.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome. Ronit, what's your question?
Okay, did that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. I am so intrigued by this idea. I just wanted to know if you could follow up for just a smidge about if you're writing a novel. You said you don't really have to do the Instagram thing, which is enough to make me want to write a novel. But I'm just curious if you can you like elaborate on that? Because I used to write fiction and now I write nonfiction, and I think my fiction is horrible when I try to write it now. But I'm just curious about that a little bit. If you could just elaborate just for fun, is it just because you're trying to get your nonfiction voice out there?
So with nonfiction, you're trying to interest people in your topic and your take on the topic enough that they will support your book by buying it, by reviewing it, by recommending it to their friends. With fiction, the important part is your story. And your time on social media for novelists is more geared towards nurturing the audience you have rather than attracting people to your work.
Okay,
and also, I want to say too that for those of you who are novelists, I just added a column in the social media connect with each other sheet that you guys get a link to in the follow-up email. I added a column to put what you write in there so that the novelists can find the other novelists and the memoirists can find the other memoirists. But basically for fiction, let people know you're cool and hey, your book is out. And try to build up enough goodwill through service to other writers that people will promote for you joyfully and freely. But you don't have to build an audience in the way that memoirists have to build an audience.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Cassie, you're next. And Kima, it's at the bottom of the participant window, but I also see you.
Hi.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi. So I just started the Facebook author page in July and built up to 700 followers pretty quickly somehow. The problem though is I've tried lots of different things to get people to see it and engage with it, and I'm still not getting that many people follow and nobody's still seeing what I post. And I've done the 4 hours later, post it to my own wall, share it to groups, things like that. And it's still getting really a small amount of engagement. So I'm just not sure what else to try.
Ashley, I'm letting you take this one.
Okay, so Cassie, no one's going to see your Facebook author page no matter how hard you try, but we still have to have it. Okay, so if there are things that you want people to see to really know about your writing, sharing it on your personal page, sharing it in a mini format on Instagram, talking about it on your Instagram stories, if you like to be on video, these other media alternatives that we have are ways to get it out. Facebook author pages are necessary when you have a book to sell and we want to do a book or a course or any sort of offering where we want to do Facebook ads. You're going to need to have a business page for that. But Facebook will only pump it out if you're paying for them to pump it out. So getting stuff, it sounds like you are doing everything you can and being so smart about it, and that you've invited people and you have a good following. So keep doing it, but stop worrying that low engagement is because you're doing something wrong. It's the only thing you're doing wrong is not giving Facebook more money, and you don't need to give them money right now.
Exactly. Yeah, gradually and slowly maintain the author page. Erin had also asked, is it beneficial to have a professional author account on Facebook? No, it's not particularly beneficial, but do it anyway, because one day you're going to want to buy an ad. And because when you do become fabulously famous and awesome, then people will come to your page on purpose, and it will be nice to have a backlog of content on there. So, but if there's stuff you really care about people seeing, post as yourself, post it in a group full of people who are interested in the same thing you're interested in, post it on your personal wall. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Kima.
Hello.
Hey, we're glad you could make it. I know normally you can't make it on Tuesdays.
I know it's another magic day. It won't last for very long. I have a question about burnout, and it is basically that I'm considering the heavy investment of time as I'm learning the platforms as to be like, this is the time where I'm going to school, learning the platforms, dipping my toes in the things that are uncomfortable, and then deciding which ones I like. But I'm concerned long term that I won't be able to keep up even maybe a weekly pace, possibly, depending on how things go. Does that hurt you if you like try to go big in the beginning, but then you realize that you need it to slow down later? And will you lose people if you don't have like, I don't want to be famous for one thing. And I don't want to set myself up with like feeling as though I need to constantly engage at times when my life is too busy or whatever.
You don't have to.
Okay.
And that's the difference between being an influencer on a platform and being a writer on a platform.
Okay.
Influencers need to pump out content because what they have to sell is content. Writers need to share enough of themselves to be intriguing, not so much that they feel like they're violating their own privacy, and just connect with their readers. But the kind of people who you're going to connect with are going to stick around, even if you take a break or you're off for a while. You know, you can always put something up on your Instagram or on your Twitter that says, hey, I'm writing this week. I'll see you guys in a while, you know, and people will respect that. It's not your obligation to constantly crank out content.
Cool. I think that people really take inspiration from that when you're taking a mindful break as well. I'll do it over the holidays. I will take a break for 30 days, sometimes 90 days from social media, and let people know, you know, I need to recenter, or I'm going to hunker down and do this next draft of my book. And then I stay online for like a few hours after that, because a lot of people have well wishes. And the only time I'll pop into my stories during that is if, say, a friend is publishing a book and I just want to promote it in the stories. But because people have interacted a lot with my posts in the past, if my one story comes up after not posting anything for a month, people are on it. Like Instagram will put it out quickly for them. So you don't need to be worried that because you haven't been engaged, then it'll be crickets when you come back. It's actually the opposite effect sometimes.
Yeah. We're going to take 2 more questions and then do the fun of breakout rooms. So Nina, what is your question? And then we'll hear Nancy's question.
Okay, so my question is that I have done Instagram posts, not specifically writer-centered, just sort of life things for quite a while, sporadically, but I want to up my game. But I don't understand really the difference between the Instagram story versus an Instagram post, and why do one or the other, or like I said in my comments, both ? You know, you. So
we are
That's
going
a great
to do
question.
Such a good question. After breakout rooms, I'm going to do a demo and show you where you find IGTV, Reels, and Stories on Instagram. So you can just see what the different things are. And then I'm going to do some tutorials for the binder, just mini videos to show you how to actually navigate each one. If you want to watch someone's story or if you want to add to your own story, because it's not really intuitive the way it's set up, but then it's consistent. So there's value in each.
And Instagram stories are also a cool way that you can build text and graphics very easily, that you don't even post to your story, but you save them to your phone and then later use them on Twitter or on Instagram. Nina, what was your follow-up?
Yeah, no, just that when she said story, like later, you know, and that like what? So we'll cover that later then.
Yeah, after breakout room, we'll go through those so that by the end of this call, everybody's clear on the difference between these things. And then we'll give you more resources after so that you can make you can navigate looking at other people's, and you can make them yourself, both.
Exactly. Nancy, what's your question?
Okay. I have a publication on Medium called Crow's Feet, and I send out a newsletter there to my followers that there's 100 different writers. So, I'm really promoting and featuring others' work, very little of my own. And I'm very comfortable saying we, but I got into the the pods on Instagram, and I found that I'm really feeling very personal when I communicate and comment on people's posts. So my question is, I'm on Instagram as Crow's Feet, but I'm Nancy Peckenham. And I don't know, it's a push-pull thing for me because I feel like I connect as a person, but I want to build my brand. So how do I balance that?
What do you sell as your brand?
Well, right now I'm selling the new book that's a collection of the essays from the online publication.
And is the book called Crow's Feet?
It is.
Then that's what you're promoting right now. The other thing you can do is your Instagram handle does not have to be the same as your display name on Instagram. So my handle is Guerrilla Memoir, like Che Guevara, not the ape. I would have spelled it differently had I known. My display name, though, is Allison K. Williams, writer. So I have a name that pops up that shows this is who I am. You met me at a conference. We talked on social media before, whatever. And this is what I do. But then I also have the handle that I use on Twitter, on Instagram, across social media.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But I think, Nancy, because I'm in some of your comment pods, right? And I've been interacting with your brand and with you. And I love those comments that I know are coming from Nancy. Like, it makes me want to know more about Crow's Feet. So because this is what you are building and what you've put together, showing your personality and yourself through your posts, I think will really bring more people in.
Great. Yeah. Well, that settles it. If I can put my name out there too, and people know, hey, I'm a real person out here.
And Mimi's also asking, how do you join a comment pod? You guys will get a link in the follow-up email that will let you join for the comment pods. You'll sign up on a Google Sheet, and then I plot people into pods, mostly based on how often you post, but also based on what your interests are. And let us know too if your comment pod is too fast or too slow for you. We like to do some breakout rooms. If this is your first time here, you may be thinking, oh my God, I was not signed up to talk to random strangers. This is weird. And I got to tell you, whenever I go into breakout rooms, that is my feeling every time. And every time I come out of the breakout rooms, I'm really delighted at the people I have met. So do not feel obligated to go do breakout room, but don't hold back because you feel like you don't look right or you're nervous about strangers or whatever. Just go ahead and trust in the process. You're going to get about 6 minutes just to meet the other people, tell them what you're writing, put a face to the people that you're learning to meet on social media. And we'll spend about 6 minutes in our breakout rooms, and then we'll come back and we'll have more question time.
Hey, I have to jump off to get back to work now, but just wanted to thank you guys.
Abby.
You're welcome, Abby.
I want to
so
tell you guys,
here.
Since I started following, the Writer's Bridge, I went from 339 followers to I'm up to 653 now. So it's working it, little by little. And I feel like I've got more of a look going with it. I feel like I'm getting a better handle on how to put captions together that are a little more, that fit into those categories of hand or candy or, all of that. So also I've discovered that reposting quotes by Liz Gilbert gets me the most reach. I'm almost at 2,400 with one, which is the highest I've gotten. Not reach. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you.
And that was one of the questions actually we got beforehand, was how to give credit when the quote is not yours, but then brand it in your own way to share. So when we do Instagram demo that we're doing here, Allison, I can get through this quickly. I can just scroll to one of those on my feed because I have one recently.
Yeah, I try to use the quote as my picture, and then I write about what that means to me and put my own personal spin on it. So that's working for me.
That's a really great way to do it. Yeah, that's a fabulous way to do it. So this breakout room this non-breakout room that we're in will actually also show up in the recording. So I'll also take this as a moment to say too, we don't really have much to worry about as far as copyright. Someone had asked, like, is it okay to, post quotes from somebody else? As long as you're attributing stuff, people are not going to get mad, and it's not an actionable thing. They might say to you if they get really cranky, please don't quote my song lyrics, take them down. But it's very unlikely that would happen, and you're not in any legal problems whatsoever. Mostly it's boosting the other people, it's boosting their words.
It is. If you tag them, if you tag the artist or you tag the writer, the creator of any sort, oftentimes they'll share it too. They'll share it. I did a reel about my anniversary ring again last night. Well, I did a post a few months ago, and I did a reel, and the jeweler shared it on their stories, flooded with new followers and views on my account. That's the thing about social media. If you are sharing something for someone else or making content with their words or with their creation, their art of some sort, that is such a boost to them, because then they don't have to create that content. I even did a funny story about how I use Scouts Honor dog pee spray around the toilets because I have 3 boys. And Scouts Honor sent me a bunch of free product because they just loved that I was showing people that it's not just for pets, it's for anybody who's stinky.
Can I just say how glad I am I have 0 children?
I know. I've got enough for both of us.
That's a great tip. I have a son, and wow, that bathroom smells like pee.
Always.
You need the dog spray. Susan, what's your question?
Yeah, so I was just, you may be addressing this, but with regard to the quote cards, I notice a lot of people also put their handle on the quote. And I wondered, at what point do you do that? I mean, obviously you'd attribute the quote to whomever, but is it if you are trying to create a look and a brand and a template, or is that just a matter of preference, and do you have to edit a template to be able to put your name on it, or?
You can just put your name on it by opening it up in Instagram stories and putting the text on there. Or if you're using a quote creation app like WordSwag or whatever, you can do that. We're going to end up doing, Ashley's going to do a brief Reels demo in a minute, but we're going to end up doing a whole set of a whole episode on Reels, IGTV, videos, and Instagram stories, because there's so many things you can use Instagram stories for beyond just posting to Instagram stories. I find it really helpful for creating little text pieces and stuff too.
Allison, can you co-host me now, or do you need to be the exclusive host to get people back from breakout?
Let me co-host you. Yeah.
Because if I could do this.
Yes, Amy. You. Awesome.
I'm gonna do this and get into
1 minute warning.
The screen share.
Brilliant.
While we are, and I will show Susan specifically something here. It took me a little while to get comfortable figuring out how to do this. Here's one example. I like to, can you guys see this right now? Susan, yeah. Okay, I like to, even if the quote originator is unknown, I like to put that here so that it doesn't look like I'm taking credit for the quote. That's a huge pet peeve I have of memoirists / influencers when they take credit by putting their brand on something that are not their words to begin with. So
without a proper attribution to the other person.
Exactly. So even when it's unknown, I put the unknown here, but then I have my GIF, I have my name here. So when people share this, and if we look at this, we had 119 people share this. So not all of those went to stories. Some people just shared it with a friend maybe who needed to hear it. But then a lot of people, 140, visited my profile because they had seen this, right? Because if I had just made the quote card without any of that branding, people may not have checked back to see like, oh, okay, who is this person? So there are different things for all of us with our own aesthetic that we can do to brand something that we're just resharing from someone else.
Yeah. Fabulous. So welcome back from breakout time, everybody. Ashley is going to give us a quick demo on what the heck is a reel and where the heck do you find it. If, like me, you live in Dubai, hi, Iabel, you do not yet have access to reels, but this will serve us in good stead for when we finally do get reels. Instagram is rolling them out country by country.
Yes. Okay. First off, when you are looking at your own Instagram profile, around your profile picture right here, or on this profile picture, there may be a plus sign. That means Instagram is prompting you to add a story, okay? I do not have a plus sign because I already have stories in here. Now, when I am on my regular feed, all the stories of the people I view the most, there we are, look, the people who I view the most often are right along the top here. I could click on Allison's story right here. If I want this to pause, I put my finger in the middle of the screen and that pauses it for me. A lot of people say there's too much text for me to read everything in the time. Every single story, you can put your finger on it and it will pause like this. If I want to jump ahead, if I want to jump back, let's do that. I tap on the left-hand side of my screen and it will take me back. If I want to go ahead a slide, I tap on the right side of the screen. I tap on the right, and then I can go back again like this. If I want to comment to Allison on this, I will click on the bottom of my screen, send message, and then this pauses. I don't need to hold my finger on it any longer. And I can click one of these quick reactions, or I can type to Allison, Dubai is the first place I'm going to visit when I can get on a plane.
And Susan asked, does that come as a direct message? Yes, it does. And BK asked, that feels kind of intrusive. Is that not weird? It is not. Anybody who is posting to their stories is both open to and really happy to receive your messages, because we all like to know we're not shouting into the void. It's genuinely beautiful to connect in that way.
It is, and it is not creepy, and it is something that then you can have a connection with someone who normally would have very low accessibility. Jennifer Rudolph Walsh was Jeanette Wall's literary agent, James Patterson, Brene Brown. She and I have a direct message chain on Instagram because I reacted to her stories when she had her Together Live speaking events. So, and I would reshare them and I would promote the thing that she was promoting. So I have a connection with a lot of people on Instagram that would otherwise, in a different time period, be hard to get. So if we are back in here, if I want to add to my story, I would click here and then I would click on that plus sign in the top corner. I would make a video, hello, and then I'll share with you in the tutorials after what you can add to this as far as, hi there, as captions and things like that, okay? Now, when you're looking at someone's feed, right here, these are this little, looks like a graph paper, this grid. This is the regular profile grid of a person. The next icon over is this little play button. This is new, this is Reels, and it's not available in every country. If you click on that, then it will take you to the person's Reels. You will not see drafts unless you are on your own Reels, okay? But so that's just only when you are on your own. No one else would see your drafts. And then you could go through here. Reels are between 0 and 30 seconds. I always choose the 30-second option when I'm making them. So then I don't run out of time, okay? The next button over here is IGTV. All of these things that you are seeing here remain on a feed permanently. Okay, so the profile grid, the reels, and then your IGTV. These are videos that are more than a minute long. Stephanie Weaver does her cooking show, The Blue and Yellow Kitchen, here on Instagram and on Facebook Watch. And I think her videos are half an hour long. So this is just a place, sort of like YouTube, because Instagram is just taking the good features from other places and copying them, quite honestly, and somehow has convinced us to all be there together using these features. The next one over is tagged photos. So this is when someone else posts something and tags me in the photo, not in the caption, but they tap on the photo to tag. This is a good place to go on comp accounts, because then you will see their super fans who are posting their quotes. This is Abby was saying during the breakout room that when she posts a Liz Gilbert quote, she gets a ton more impressions and reach than when she does any other kind of content. It could be that Liz Gilbert's fans go to this tagged section on her account and then click through and find their way, like here we are at Dubai Literary, find their way to Abby because of that.
Yeah. We are going to do a whole episode on reels, stories, highlights, which I know Kirsten wants to know how to do, and IGTV. Hey, Ashley, next week, are we doing that or are we doing content planning?
This is a question we are getting so often. So I would be happy. I would be happy to do this. I think I'm going to stop my share unless there's anything. Are there any questions in the chat box, Allison, for people wanting to show anything else?
You are good. But I think definitely we need to do like a step-by-step through Instagram stories, why you might do them. Because honestly, like I know it sounds confusing. It confused me when I first started, but now Instagram stories are a super casual, intimate way to reach out to people that feels low stress and low stakes. And yes, Sarah, if you only have the waffle, reels and TV are not yet available in your country, and they're not in mine either. And so next meeting, Ashley, when is our next meeting? Because it's after the election. Is it the 10th?
We're going to have it on the 10th. Yes.
We're going to have our next meeting November the 10th.
And then we're going to do every 2 weeks after that. And having a little break over the holiday in December, and then we'll start in January again, because someone did ask at the beginning of the call if this was continuing or if, you know, we dressed up as a big finale. No, we just dressed up because we're performers who are now writing.
Tomorrow, you are going to get an email that has a link to the recording of this call and a link to all of the recordings of the previous calls. It will have a link to share your social media in a Google Doc with whatever you'd like to share. It will have a link to sign up for comment pods. One thing we'd love to have you do is think of a writer friend who also is building platform or navigating their way through social media, and forward that email on to your writer friend as well so that they can also join. It's always free. New people are always welcome. And even though we are predominantly women, we are not entirely women. Dudes are welcome. Non-binary people are welcome. Everybody is completely welcome. We're also going to send you guys a little bit of an extra special gift. We've had a lot of questions about hashtags lately, and we are going to send you our super duper list of hashtags that you can use on your posts. They will be hashtags that are appropriate for writing content, that don't have too many people on them and don't have too few people on them. And I think that's actually going to be a PDF that you can download that we will give you a link to, but you will get a list of hashtags that you can use on your stuff as well. Ashley, anything else we need to add before we come to a close today?
No, we have a suggestion that we should do a holiday party. And yes, we already have that on our agenda. So a lot of you know this, but Allison is a former circus coach and performer, and I'm a former figure skating coach and choreographer. So this is one of the reasons we like being on video. This is one of the reasons we like showing our faces on Instagram, and that we believe that we can coach you coach anyone who wants to make content and share their story through social media to figure out the way that's going to work best for you. You never ever have to show your face if you don't want to. You never have to do an Instagram story facing the camera. You will see we do those kinds of things because we have performed and trained performers for a really long time.
That doesn't mean you have to.
It doesn't mean you have
work
to.
For social media works for you. And remember too, we are always about building a bridge, because a bridge is a way that you reach your readers and your readers reach you. So we're going to unmute everybody for the great big goodbye. So thanks, guys. We see you in the magic mirror and we hope you had a great time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you both for coming.
The other
That's
side
great.
of the election.
Yes, we'll see you then, Linda, on the other side. Bye, Amy. Bye, Amy's husband who loves ska music.
Oh my God.
Thanks for coming.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye, Margaret. Bye, Kima.
Bye. Nice
Bye,
to
Ari.
see you.